Okay, let's get this show on the road. First time I've done this live, and so I wanted to take a few minutes to make sure I'm up and running. I just jumped on YouTube here to make sure that it was playing live, which it is. So we are going to look at the Albuquerque real estate market update, the data that came in over the weekend. And what this tells us is how many homes are or the we look at the homes that are on the market, and it's a really good indicator of where we are right now and where we may be in the future for the housing market. If you're a real estate professional, a mortgage person, a real estate broker, or if you're a home buyer or home seller, or just curious about the real estate market in Albuquerque and what is going on, this is for you. So that's everybody, right? Um, I'm going to jump over here. I've got this new piece of software, so bear with me while I jump around here. Okay, here we go. So we're looking at all single family homes for sale in the Albuquerque area. Again, this is active inventory, if you will, homes that are on the market. A couple different charts, and we're just gonna walk through the charts here and show you. I've got these broken down by year. We can see how it's changed over the last 5 years. So we go back to 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, of course, and how we compare. On the right side over here, we have a couple different rankings. And let's go through that first. We're looking at the market action index. You can see it here and here. But what this is doing is looking at the zip codes. What are the hottest zip codes in the Albuquerque area right now? Meaning, what are the strongest sellers markets? And if we look at 87121, 87110, 87109, 87108, those are all really strong. Meaning we have tight supply and a decent demand. Now, if we look at it for the overall market, and we're looking again at everything in the Albuquerque MSA, so it's all 4 counties, all single-family detached homes. If we look at this year, we're at 47 compared to previous years, 21 and 22 were, off the hook, but we're above the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, 2019, and 2018. Anything above 30, give or take, is considered a seller's market. And so we're definitely in the seller's market territory right now when we look at supply versus demand. And it does feel that way, even though demand has come down a lot. Supply has still come down a lot. And we're going to look at that next. So let's look at inventory. There's a number of homes on the market. And let me hover there. There we go. So 901 homes this week on the market. That's down just a smidge from last week. I think it was, let's see here, 902. Yeah, definitely a smidge. Um, so maybe starting to stabilize a little bit, the number of homes stabilizing, but you can see if you go back, if you look in years past, it's not unusual for it to continue to decline into March, the number of homes on the market. We'll see how this year shakes out because it is a very tight supply right now. We are definitely more than, last year and the year before, but way less than, the 3 years prior to that, you can see there. Okay, new listings. This is kinda one of the big stories right now is the number of people listing their homes is down. Just not as many, people listing. There's this whole concern that people that are in these 3, 4, even, low 5% mortgage rates, aren't really motivated to sell right now because they have these great house payments and they have equity in their home. So there's, not as many people selling as normally we would see, and you can see how this is the weekly chart, so 109 this week versus 120 versus 130, 140, 150, 160. So you can see we definitely don't have as many people listing their homes. People are staying in their homes longer, and that's a national trend. That's not just here locally, but that is a trend. Okay, let's talk about pricing. Prices, how do I say this? Median prices had a peak back here. So, the green chart, the green line here, we can see home prices peaked out somewhere somewhere in here, well, let's see, that was October. Oh, no, never I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong area. I'm looking at the wrong thing. See, that's live. May, we saw home prices peak 400 $27,000. Now, again, this is list prices. This is what, the median sale price, which is definitely gonna be lower. But it gives you an idea of the trend. Home prices did pull back the median price all the way through till the beginning of this year, and now we've, gone over last year in median list price, but there definitely was a pullback. But I'm gonna show you something here in a second, which will help explain that. Now, if we look at price per square foot, which is a better overall indicator of price trends, you can see again, we had that peak back in May, and yeah, it did definitely pull back a little bit, very little, and it's just was flat throughout the year. But then if we look at the year-over-year number here at the beginning of this year, 198 versus 190 last year, price per square foot, prices are so the year-over-year is definitely up, probably flat from, earlier in, 2022. So, again, I'm gonna get to this whole median price, discussion here in a second, why median prices changed much more than price per square foot. Okay, price decreases. It's elevated. It's more than we would normally have this time of year, 35%, but 2019, it was 33%, and 2019 was a really strong year, so we, it's not extraordinary. We had a lot of price decreases back here at the end of the year, some of the highest numbers we'd seen, but right now, the number of price decreases, it's high, but it's not like we've got this surge of people that are just desperate to offload their homes and dropping prices, like crazy, and of course, many of these price reductions are coming off of much higher or elevated prices from, just in the last couple of years. Uh, Another thing I check is this median list price, so just give us a sense of what's going on in people's mind when they're listing their home. For higher, are they listing them for, lower? Lot of squiggles on this one. This is a 7-day moving average. You can see it bumped down here last week, bumped up, this week, and you have to look at this more of a long-term trend. If I saw this continuing to decline, that would mean that home sellers, the realtors that are helping them, aren't as confident, are gonna be listing at lower prices. We're not really seeing that here right now. Okay, price per square foot versus, median price. We saw a big decline in the median price. And remember, median is midway between, everything, right? Whatever's on the market in this case, we're talking about, for sale. We also have median square footage, size of home. And obviously, as the size of the home decreases, the overall price of the homes decreases. And Lawrence Kuhn with the, National Association of Realtors, Dr. Lawrence Kuhn, he's the chief economist with the National Association, was here in Albuquerque a few weeks ago, and he talked about this phenomenon where, you know, during the early summer months, you're gonna see larger homes selling, more expensive homes selling that's gonna drive up the median price, and that's just a because of families, right? You would just have more families moving at that time of year, of course, just in tune with the school year. So, just wanted to point that out, and I wouldn't take I don't know, just something to consider. But anyway, this chart, median price per square foot, or excuse me, median square foot versus median price. And you can see there's a very strong correlation there. So as obviously the size of the homes get smaller that are on the market, the price of those homes get smaller as well. And as the price of the size of the home gets larger, the price of the homes get larger also. Other chart on the left, or excuse me, on the right over here, median price ranked. And you can see, it's just kinda interesting to see. I think, anybody that's in the business and knows Albuquerque, that, these are all make perfect sense. 87122 is the most, expensive list prices in the Albuquerque area right now. That's North Albuquerque Acres. Corrales is number 2, Placitas is number 3, Sandia Park, 87113, the North Valley, 87111, that's the far Northeast Heights, and so on. North Valley again to Harris, and so on. We go down the list, and then some of the more affordable areas, 87102. What is 8? That that must be a very small market. I can't even think of what it is. Belen, 87108 downtown, 87121, southwest, west side. So it's just kind of an interesting, thing to look at. One last chart I wanna pull up here, and that is our mortgage rates. Ugh, mortgage rates took a beating last week, in the sense that they went up. We had about a half a point move. If we go back to beginning of the month, February 2nd, there was a point where, point, interesting. There was a time when mortgage rates actually, were hovering right around 6. Of course, not for everybody, but there was a point there. Now we're up at 6.8, uh, and they're kinda going up again. So it's one of those good news, news things. The economy is strong, inflation is strong, and when inflation is strong, the mortgage rates are gonna be high. It's very simplistic, there's a whole lot to but, at the moment, mortgage rates are definitely, pushing the higher limits again. And that'll be, interesting to track and see if that, forces some people to put their home shopping on pause. There's a lot of different programs out there, though, to help people, get into a lower mortgage rate. So if you've got any questions about that, you can reach out to us, and we are the Venturi Realty Group with Keller Williams Realty. We're at, 505-448-8888. Thanks for watching my first live stream. Hope it went well. Let us know if, you got any questions about your real